Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a quick look at NEAR, and I usually like to kind of go into detail on Bitcoin first. I'll make a separate video for that altogether here today, but the bottom line is that it's trying to test 43,000, which is a key level resistance because it has a little resistance channel between 42.2 and 43,000. Okay, so we'll look at that again later. Stay tuned for that. Now for NEAR, just before we jump in, I want you to know I'm not a financial advisor. Love teaching people how to trade. I have a trading community with that designed specific purpose. Be sure to check that out. I'm rolling out with the Trading Academy as well here soon at the end of this month, and it's going to be an awesome experience for everyone. Now we're also experiencing some awesome behavior here as well. A lot of green across the board. So fantastic there. We can tentatively kind of, I guess, get excited, but just bear in mind that is tentative. Everything comes with a disclaimer here today that, we have some news tomorrow with, the Fed meeting essentially, and understanding what the CPI data is, and that's going to be a big deal, right? There's a good chance that it may be nothing, but it could also be something, right? There's also a few other things you want to understand as well, and I'll cover this in my other video, but there's definitely an entity adjusted dormancy flow where we are really, really low, and this is considered to be a good buy zone, and this information coming out essentially kind of is giving everybody likely a go-ahead to want to try to invest at this point, because people feel like the bottom is in. I don't feel like the true bottom is in. I think we could see something lower, but just note that that is a thing right now, okay? That could be causing the spur in progression upwards, because obviously that's getting passed around social media, and you just need to understand and be aware of that. It could essentially be a bull trap set for tomorrow. Okay, so just bear in mind, we're not out of the woods yet, but that is kind of what's going on here, and that's causing NEAR to increase in the most recent past. So taking a look at the one-day chart, let's quickly work our way down and just kind of go with our standard indicators. We're up over both moving averages. That's excellent. We're in between 50 and 70 on the RSI, also important as well. We're not considered overextended, and we're also coming up on a MACD convergence here as well, based on the fact we've had 2 strong green days of bullish momentum. Keep in mind also, we are coming close to our all-time high getting tested. So the likelihood of it getting rejected there initially could happen, right? But the likelihood of it breaking through and coming back down to test as a support is also equally as relevant. Okay, so if either of those two scenarios happen, nothing to be concerned about, because it's normal behavior for that to occur. But also note too, this previous candle wick, even though yes, I have Fibonacci retracement levels drawn off of that specifically, I can tell you that that was a 1 minute pump and dump. That literally, if you go down to the 1 minute chart, you can see that it shot straight up and straight down in 1 minute. Not sure exactly what happened there, but that candle wick essentially isn't super relevant, whereas I think right here at about 1770 is more of a resistance level than that would be, okay? Just based on that simple fact. So just keep that in mind if you see the price progress higher into that range. Moving on to the 4 hour, we can see that we are, I wouldn't say overextended, but we are hitting a 9, and we are now into, I guess you could say, a brief amount of overtime. So as you can see, it's kind of got tested and rejected here at this resistance level, 1625, and of course the price eventually just broke through recently. So that's very much a good thing. Just keep in mind on the 4 hour, we've seen a continuation for literally the last 2.5 days, and that continuation could cause a retracement in the near future. So I think the likelihood of it retracing when it hits its resistance here right around 1770, 17, or basically just between 1770 and $18, that would be a strong likelihood of a pullback at that point, or at least a place in which it'll consolidate closer to resistance and then eventually break out, okay? Again, we need a little bit more stability in the market. We're not out of the woods yet by any means. We've seen some good stuff here today, of course, from all these other coins. But the bottom line here is that NEAR is not quite at that point where we need to feel like we're super excited about it, right? Yes, it's got some good momentum, but it's a bit on the overextended side on the midterm, and that to me, I wouldn't say is a major cause for concern, but we're coming up on 70 on the RSI as well. There's a lot of reasons why we might see a slight pullback in the immediate future, okay? Again, macro looks good. There's nothing wrong with the macro. We still got plenty of room for growth. I think the likelihood of NEAR breaking its all-time high and passing its all-time high and then shooting, kind of going crazy from there in that uncharted territory is extremely likely. But for right now, just got to be real with us, or real in the sense that it shouldn't pop off or take off yet. We should probably see some consolidation closer to resistance. That would probably be an ideal scenario ultimately. Now, taking a look here over at the 1 hour, we can see on the 5, or we're at a 5 rather, on TD sequential, basically just telling us that we hit that 9, obviously, and we've seen some consolidation ever since. So this is all well and good, pretty much par for the course, not adverse at all, just basically implying that we might see another, 5 to 10 hours worth of bullish continuation, but that will likely again stop at that resistance level. Okay, so feel free to add to your position if you are dollar cost averaging. Just bear in mind there's a couple factors in place. Got a strong resistance in place, as well as the simple fact that we have the news tomorrow that could effectively impact Bitcoin into a lower price point if we can't break 43,000 here today and close above on the one-day chart. Granted, we close above on the one-day chart at 43,000 today. That'd give more confidence, that'd have less fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Doesn't necessarily mean everything is going to take off or we won't see a retracement tomorrow. This could still very well be a bull trap, and I just want you to be aware of that. So proceed with caution. Do not invest everything, at this point in time into these coins that are taking off, because yes, it's nice that they're recovering. Obviously, this is one of my top 5 picks, and I can tell you that there's a reason for it doing well, okay? But on the same accord, we got to understand as well that we're not quite out of the woods yet. We still got a little bit of, I guess you could say, misbehaving from Bitcoin that could still occur in the near future. So just be mindful of that. I think the rest of this month will be kind of unique in the sense that Bitcoin should kind of be giving us some strange behavior. But the key takeaway here, though, is that we have mostly bullish indications of a buy signal for near. Obviously, had you invested right here when the price broke above the cloud, it would be in a better case scenario. That was roughly 24 hours ago. But the bottom line here is that we can see the price is above, free and clear of any price action with a lagging span. Conversion lines above the baseline, and obviously we're above the cloud. So that's basically a check mark on all 3 indicators there within the cloud, just letting us know that if we have a position open, we want to consider letting it ride at least until that conversion line crosses with the baseline, or more importantly, the lagging span intersects with price action. This will likely be the first thing that occurs. So the price comes down, kind of just retraces or consolidates at resistance. We will essentially get that sell signal from the cloud. Not to say you have to sell, it's just giving you an idea of the fact that, hey, price is overextended, this little run is over tentatively, and that'd be completely okay because we are consolidating at resistance. So if all goes well, the price trends closer to $17/$18 for the next couple of days, while all this nonsense from Bitcoin continues to occur. And once that happens and that kind of comes to a head and it's all well and done, all said and done, we don't have a crazy decrease from Bitcoin in the next 24 to 48 hours, then near will definitely, I believe, pass its all-time high, come back down to test it as a support, and then shoot up. If we get this to break $18, come back down to test $17.70, I think that'd be a really good indication of a buy signal. Again, those are potential bear traps, but it's not very frequent that you're going to see that in a scenario like this when we have Bitcoin at its likely bottom, right? Again, likely bottom is the key takeaway here. Try to understand that. So that is kind of where we're at here. So ultimately, I do think near is good. If you have a short-term position, just be mindful you might get a little bit of resistance at this resistance, of course, coming up around 1770, 1780, right in that range. And then obviously, if you have a long-term position, dollar cost average isn't a terrible idea. I would just maybe consider waiting 24 hours to see what happens with Bitcoin, because even if Bitcoin sells off, right, near isn't going to drop its bottom. It's proven to be very resilient. However, it would essentially decrease too. Like it could literally come down in the range of $13 to $15. There's no doubt about that. That's a likelihood. We just got to be aware of that. Okay, but we're making higher highs, higher lows. Nice continuation pattern. We're just a little overextended on the 4-hour. Just things to be mindful of. So all good stuff here for near. I literally see nothing adverse at all. We just got to be mindful that Bitcoin could do something tricky in the next 24 to 48 hours. Just be aware of that. All right, well, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much again for joining me here. If you're not currently a community member, please consider joining. We actually have an amazing, robust environment there, really cool collaborative dynamic. And ultimately, with my trading academy rolling out a month in, I think it's definitely something you could benefit from. So check that out in your own time, of course. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to message me through social media. I'm primarily available through Telegram at CryptoCache Tech. Hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll look forward to seeing the next one. Thanks again for your time.